Hello and welcome to this edition of the Long Talk here on New Zealand Sports Radio. Hi, I'm Paul. I'll be your host today, and I've got an absolute cracking chat for you today. We're going into a new area. We've never talked motorsport before, and that's where we're heading with Jessica Sitz, who is a navigator in the PSP New Zealand Jetsprint Championship. That's right, those little boats that zoom around little lakes and islands and stuff. But we'll find out more of that as we talk to Jess. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad at all. Not bad. As I say, this is a totally new area for us, which is going to be fantastic. But we always start these with a very simple question. What's your very first sporting memory?
Oh, my very first sporting memory. I would say it's actually wrestling, which is really odd. But it was more because I grew up with, male cousins. And it's more them practicing wrestling moves on me because they really enjoyed wrestling. So that's probably my very first sporting experience, which has probably toughened me up a little bit and also made me a little bit of a tomboy growing up as well. But hey, I don't mind it.
Fantastic. I'll be honest, that's a new one. I've not heard that. But most of them, it's kind of like, quite often it's waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and watching All Blacks tests and things like that. But no, wrestling, brilliant.
Yeah, I know, something different. Yeah, they used to love, WWE, and I remember the Undertaker and the Kane and all those sort of old school wrestling guys, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin and
yes, Hulk Hogan, is that his name as well?
we're going back a bit further with Hulk Hogan and
yeah,
and that kind of piece. But yes, brilliant. So during school, were you a sporty kid? You just said you were a bit of a tomboy. So did you get involved in sports through school as well?
Yep, a little bit. So I did a bit of tennis and also a bit of netball. Growing up in school, but now I do quite a bit of touch, indoor netball, and also boxing as well. So boxing just for fitness. Yeah, I did do one corporate boxing match actually, which really challenged me. I drew.
Good.
Yeah, but definitely challenged me mentally and physically, because I guess you never want to hurt anyone, but at the ring, you have to forget about all that and just be in the zone and get that mongrel mentality out of you, I guess.
Well, as Mike Tyson said, we all have a good plan until someone hits you in the face.
Yep, definitely that first hit, I was like, I'm not taking this.
And I have interviewed a friend who did white collar boxing a number of years ago now, and he did just how tiring it is just holding your hands up the whole time. You just don't really kind of consider that as a non-boxer.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, they always tell you to have your hands on your face the whole time, because if your hands are like this and they hit your hand, you're going to hit yourself pretty much. Don't want to be doing that.
Oh, brilliant. Oh, very good. So did you ever get to any kind of, through sort of netball and tennis, did you ever get to any kind of level or as in rep level, or just school stuff and club stuff for fun?
No, just school stuff. It's just more social. But social can never be quite that social. But yeah, it's just more with friends now, which I quite enjoy. And it's just more to get out there and get fit, because I like to eat. So I have to, you can't get too big, especially sitting in a jet sprint boat. Can't be too heavy, weighing the boat down.
So how actually, on that, we'll do just a very quick aside here. But how important is it that you're a similar size to your driver for balance in the boat?
It's not too important. Actually, the first question they did ask me to get me into the sport was how much I weighed.
Right.
And maybe I met that criteria, which is why they really wanted me to be a navigator.
So this is a bit like jockeys. This is a kind of or coxers in rowing, where you're the smallest person doing the steering.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, pretty much.
So, all those sports we've talked about basically are kind of, apart from the tennis one, they're all kind of team sports. They involve running around. None of them involve kind of like bikes or motorbikes or cars. So how do you go from a running round sport into into a motorsport? I mean, did you like riding your bike down steep hills quickly? Did you, I don't know, have you done any go-karting or any rallying or any of that kind of stuff?
Not too much. I've done, I love adrenaline. So, I've bungee jumped off the Harbour Bridge. I've jumped off the Sky Tower. I've done parasailing, paragliding. I've done all those adrenaline stuff. So I guess hopping into a boat, it was not kind of like a no-brainer in a way, but also some liquid courage did help me as well. So how it all happened was basically I went to my first ever jet sprinting prize giving as a sponsor, representing PSP. And it was, mixing and mingling with some of the drivers, and one driver happened to be out of a Navigator. So last season, it was their last season. So they asked me, what do you weigh? What do you do? That sort of thing. And this was after a few, drinks as well. And I was like, I'll be happy to jump in, given no experience, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I guess the next morning they messaged me and be like, so you know what you committed yourself to? And I was like, yes, I guess so.
So folks, if you do go along to a jet sprint event and someone walks up to you and asks you your weight, they're not being rude. Okay?
No, they're not. They're actually trying to poach you to be part of their team.
So there you go. Cool, and that's so all right. So all right. So no experience in motorsports events. You hadn't even. I guess you might have seen a few clips on YouTube or something, but you'd never actually. And obviously they'll have had some clips during the prize giving. But that was the extent of your experience before you were being poached to be in a in a team, eh?
Pretty much, exactly that. But haven't regretted ever since, though. So it's been good.
Cool. So what does a navigator do then in the boat? Obviously, we can see what the driver does. They turn the steering wheel and decide which way they're going. Does the I know that in speedboating, offshore speedboating, they have one guy who steers and one guy who does the throttle. So do you do the throttle, or is that the driver as well? And do you just what do you do?
I basically help the driver or reassure the driver that he's going the right way. So with the Jetsprint track, or every round, there is a certain direction that we have to go. So we get a map and a series of numbers that we kind of have to memorize. And it's my job to kind of point him in the right way, like left or right. But some teams, they actually have intercoms. So they say, hard left or, hard right. Whereas with us, me and Ollie, we'll just be using our hands to kind of navigate that way. Just point them in the right direction, pretty much. Yeah.
Does each course have a set route, or can they change it up between them? So once you do, say, the Merry course, do you know that course for next year, or can they change it between years?
Oh, they change it every year. So every year is a different rotation, I guess. Yeah. So always have to study the map. Yeah, pretty much.
So the island layout is the same, but the way you drive around them changes. Right.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah. Just to help out with, newcomers to the sport, so it's not, an unfair advantage, I guess, because everyone has to learn a different rotation.
Yeah, it also keeps it interesting as well. If it's the same course as you say, some drivers might like a technical twisty course, and some drivers might like a one with more straights, etc. Hence it also means that you're not going to get the same winner or the same style of winner at each race course every year.
Yeah, exactly.
But the actual where the islands are, those are fixed, aren't they? I mean, you have fixed courses, and then you have purpose-made courses occasionally for events. But on the whole, it's at fixed courses that you guys race.
Yeah, and it's just the way we go around the course is different.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be honest, watching it, because I've done a little bit of research and watched a few events, and it just looks random. Whilst yes, when you watch a couple of runs, you can see that they've gone similar ways, or they look pretty similar, but you can't actually. It's very difficult as a spectator to see what is the route and where they're supposed to go. I guess there's no kind of billboards up, is there?
No, there isn't. I mean, we do share on our Facebook page, where what the rotation's going to be, but I guess maybe hopefully you'll get to come to Mary, and then you might be able to figure out the rotation then after a few boats going the same way.
Don't worry. I've even got myself a cameraman to come along as well. There's going to be two of us, so we are booked in and we'll be there. So just to bring people up to speed, then. So the jet sprinting in New Zealand basically is organised by the New Zealand Jetsprint Association, and you guys have they obviously have your championship, which is for this season is 5 rounds, and it's a summer event, folks. So it runs from November through till April, and there are 3 categories across that as well. Is that the only events, or are there lower events that people where lower entry sort of events, or is it literally just 5 events for the year?
Yeah, it's just the 5 events this year. Normally it's about six rounds, but we just dropped around this year.
Right. And so across those there are 3 categories. Do you want to just give an idea as to what the 3 categories are, and what's the difference between the boats?
Yep. So we've got the Group Bs and Group As, and also super boats. So Group A is the category we're in, and you're restricted with the engine size and what you can do with the engine. So with us, I think it's 6.7 cubic liters or something that you have to keep within the size, and it's just how much horsepower you can get out of that engine size. Similar with the Group B, so it's a bit slower and they're a bit smaller engines. And then with the super boats, it's basically unlimited, so you can do whatever you want to the engine, however money you have, like you can just pour it all in and just go super fast. So with so with the Group A's, we go up to 650 horsepower, and then with the super boats it's 950 onwards up, so it's really, really fast.
Cool. Now is that just a category for New Zealand, or is that a worldwide set of categories that exist?
Yep, so worldwide is Group A's and also the super boats, and then Group B is just the additional just for New Zealand.
Right, okay.
We have as well.
So you mentioned that you navigate for the world champion, so I guess that makes you the world champion in Group A, right?
I guess so, yep.
Oh dear me, you're playing yourself down here. You are the world champion navigator at Group A level. So which countries get involved in this? I mean, where did you go for the world championships? And how many different countries? How international is this sport?
Yep. So we did it a couple of years ago in Australia, the World Championship, and I guess the other countries that participated were America, Canada, and also Australia and New Zealand. So it's just basically 4 countries that we competed. So we went so it's basically 2 rounds. The first round was just outside of Adelaide, called a little town called Keith. And then the second round was in just over the, I think, New South Wales area, the Caribbean, I think, something like that. Yeah. Cool.
So okay, so mainly English. So English speaking countries. Yeah, as you say, Canada, the USA, Australia, and New Zealand, the main countries. Have you raced in Australia or Canada? Sorry, in
No, we haven't actually. So we've just only raced in Australia and New Zealand. So just those 2 countries at the moment. Yeah. Cool. I think the next world champion was supposed to be in America, which we were planning on going to, but given the whole COVID situation, unfortunately that's just been put on hold for now.
Yep. And I mean, entering those events, obviously you take your own boat It's not like it's not some fixed class where you sort of rock up and all use the same boats. So yeah, there's a certain amount of expense that goes into this to be able to compete in those overseas events. How, as you just said, you represent a sponsor, so you clearly have a full-time job with PSP. How professional are the teams? I mean, are they all amateur racers, sort of self-funded, or how does that all work?
Yeah, so there's a mixture. So some people are self-funded, and then also some people do have sponsors and stuff as well. So it's a mixture of both.
But even the ones with sponsors aren't full-time drivers, are they? They have a day job as well. No, yeah. It's not a full professional sport.
No, not at this stage. We would like to, though.
Yep. Let's see if we can grow that up, and we'll be having a chat with them about that. So fantastic. That's so coming into the third round. How are you guys doing this season?
Not doing too bad. We're sitting tied for first place at the moment. So anything can happen because it is 1 point difference between each placing. Right. So we came second in the last round, which was in Wanganui. And then we came first in, the first round.
In Featherston, yep.
Yeah.
So folks, just so you know where they're going to be, obviously Featherston was back on the 21st November. On the 27th of December, they went to Wanganui. We're in Merry on the 20th of Feb. On the 21st of March, they're down in Wanganui. And then the final round is in Wanaka. Yeah. So 2 trips to Wanganui. Sorry?
Pardon?
The 3rd of April, yes, sorry. So 2 trips to Wanganui, so obviously it'll be the same track, but different course on that track is what you were saying for that one. So so folks, don't just because you came second last time doesn't mean you're going to come second again this time.
Yeah, hopefully not. And Merry is our home track as well, so we have our fingers and toes crossed that we'll do well in that round as well.
So how does someone get in if someone wanted to be a Jetsprint driver? How do they get into it?
I guess if you like the speed, you're brave enough to, race around a little man-made river track, and you've got the money to invest in a boat and time, then anyone's welcome to join the sport. It's quite a nice culture with the jet sprinting community as well, so very welcoming. If you're new to the sport, we're more than happy to help you out. I guess because with each round, you're not competing against other people on the track at the same time. So it's really just you and your team, one at a time. So that's why it's quite friendly, and it is. We have that, that banter with everyone as well. Like, I hope you stuff up, or that sort of thing. But it's, it's a friendly competition.
And it is, as you say, it's one boat on at a time. It's a time trial style sport. Rather than a race to first over the line, which means from a safety point of view, if you think about, yes, sure, you do go from 0 to 100 and something odd in a matter of seconds, and there are no brakes. As there's just you on the course. So from that point of view, it's relatively safe that you're not going to get sort of bashed or crashed into or anything like that.
Definitely not
as well. If you do look at them, you are traveling at over 100 clicks an hour without any brakes, so accidents do happen. Have you been in? Have you rolled the boat before, or how good is your driver from that point of view?
If he's listening, he is really good. He's a great driver. That's why I, navigate with him. But we've only done a couple of minor crashes, which is, clipping the bank and doing like a 360 in the air and then coming back to the ground. So nothing too serious. Haven't flipped or been upside down in the water just yet, touch wood. Because I guess, 3 seconds under the water could feel maybe like a minute. So touch wood, definitely don't want that to happen.
No, absolutely. And when you're saying 3 seconds, the reason that you can do that is because jet boats don't, whilst because it's water, it's not actually that deep, is it, that you're racing around in, because they're being jet boats, they don't have a deep keel or anything.
No, so the water's only really knee length. deep, maybe a bit higher, and you're really just gliding along the water.
Which means that the marshals can jump in the water and turn the boat back over, and
Yep.
and can it's having watched one crash, and suddenly you've got all these what you've seen as being people sort of zooming around on boats, and you think, oh, it's kind of deep, and then all these marshals running through the water to help was kind of a bit. It takes a while for your head to get used to that kind of concept.
Yeah, definitely.
And yes, because it's all muddy, obviously, because the boat's running through it, you can't see the bottom either. So it could be as deep as Loch Ness. I don't know.
Yeah.
So fantastic. That's the and what 7 years now has been that you've been navigating all with the same driver?
Different drivers. So I've navigated for a guy called Andrew Guthries for a couple of years, and then I had a year break, and then jumped in with Ollie. So I think this is our fifth year together now.
And so, what are your goals or aspirations as in jet sprinting? How far do you want to go?
Definitely want to try get our 5-peat this year. So we've won it for 4 times before. So definitely want to try secure that this coming season.
What, and that's it, and retire on the top, or years to come? You think navigating?
We'll see how it goes, because my dad doesn't know I do this just yet. So maybe when he finds out and he freaks out, then I might have to stop.
Yeah. Geez, you've been doing it for 7 years. You're fine already, and you're a grown lady. You can make your own choices on these things.
I know, but I'm still daddy's girl, unfortunately.
So cool. So folks, Jessica's been great and has organised, hopefully, for me to get in a boat next weekend, weekend after next. Looking forward to that. So I'm going to go out and buy myself a couple of GoPros, so you can look at how scared I look as I nip around a track. So look out for that on the channel. Also, I'm going to be having a chat with Ollie, Jess's pilot or driver, whatever he's called. We'll find out that from him and how he got into the sport as a driver as well. And as I say, myself, we'll be down there at Mary Mary on the 20th of Feb, bringing you some coverage of the event. So really looking forward to that. So thank you, Jess, for your time. It's been great having a chat.
Yeah.
And folks, look out for lots more Jet Sprint coverage here on New Zealand Sports Radio.